If you like this video, hit me with a like, subscribe to be notified of new content, or leave a comment below. Hello and welcome to a slightly overcast Newcastle International Airport. We're going to be taking this bad boy out, the EasyJet A300. It's the fly-by-wire mod, and I'm going to be testing out a few additional add-ons, namely Pilot2ATC, the built-in air traffic control system in VATSim. It doesn't really do the best of jobs, and the other one, VATSim, because of its real people, not always manned, not really really my cup of tea at the moment. So Pilot2ATC is supposed to be quite good. This is going to be the first time I've used it, so bear with me. If I get it wrong, I get it wrong, and things might go wrong. And to make things even more complicated, I'm going to be trying out FS2Crew, which I used to use self-loading cargo, but since the last video I did, when I tried to upload it to YouTube, got flagged as copyright protected because of the music that it loads in. I think there's a way of turning it off, but I'm going to try something that it gives me a little bit more. You don't get the passengers in the background, but you get a co-pilot, and they go through the cockpit checklists with you as we go along. So we will see how we get on. First things first, we need to jump into the aircraft and get it ready to fly. So let's jump in. We're at the cold and dark start, and before we start, we're going to get the METAR, which I use an app to get this one. So it's called let me just tell you, it's called Station WX. Got it on my iPad. It tells me what the weather is here at Newcastle, but we're going to start ATC to Pilot2ATC. So I've got the flight plan loaded, and if we go via this and connect, we should start hearing
Newcastle Information Romeo 1320 Zulu, winds are 271 at 16 knots. Visibility 6 miles. 1200 scattered. Temperature 10, dew point 7. Current QNH is 1027. Arriving and departing runway 25. Newcastle Information Romeo 1320 Zulu, winds are 271 at 16 knots. Visibility 6 miles. 1200 scattered.
Okay,
Temperature
so
10, dew point 7.
That marries up
Current
with what I've got.
QNH is 1027.
So in order to
Arriving
get things
and
going,
departing
we need
runway
to
25.
Get some power to the
Newcastle
aircraft.
Information Romeo
I can then
1320 Zulu,
take
winds are
the,
271 at 16 knots. Visibility 6 miles. Newcastle Information Romeo.
There we go. I've changed the frequency. We've got the METAR data and the weather information. Marries up perfectly with what I've got on my app. So we're good to start there. So I'm going to start going through my preparation, startup procedures in the aircraft. We've started with the external power, and we're going to go through putting the crew oxygen supply on and start aligning the ADIRs. So ADIR 1, ADIR 2 and ADIR 3. They'll take about 7 to 8 minutes or so to align. So first of all, next we have to put the navigation lights on. That lets people outside know that the aircraft is now got power and is starting, and it's got people on board. Before we load passengers, we'll get the seatbelt sign on. We'll get the no smoking and no portable devices on, and we'll arm the emergency exits. Check that the PAX flow is normal, which it is, and PAX 1 and 2 are on, which they are. So next we can turn on the fuel pumps. All 6 of them, 7 of them, and we can turn the batteries on. Move to the top of the panel now, and we'll do a engine fire test. So engine 1 test. That's good. Engine 2 and APU. Excellent. So those are tested. We can now turn on the APU master. We wait 3 seconds and we can start the APU. We'll increase the brightness of everywhere at the moment, so we'll go down to the ISI. So this is pretty dark at the moment, so we'll increase that brightness, and we'll increase the brightness of our navigation displays, and we can increase this brightness as well for the upper ECAM and the lower ECAM. Excellent. Check the anti-skid is on. Anti-skid is on, and we can lock the cabin door now. So we'll go down to the cabin door, we'll lock the cockpit door. Check the switching panel. Everything is on normal. We check the thrusters. Idle. Engine mode selected to normal. Check. And parking brake is on. Check. We set the transponder to standby, and we check the barometer settings as per the METAR. So the HPA at the moment is 1027, so it's quite high pressure at the moment. Turn on the both flight directors. We'll set our navigation display range to 40 miles for takeoff. We set our initial altitude. Now here we'll get cleared to 14,000, but there are constraints up to the Disty transition, or no, the Gurley transition, sorry, we're on the SID of 8,000. We can't go above 8,000 feet. So initially our initial climb is to 8,000 feet. And that's it. Initial cockpit setup complete. So we'll go through now and see what Pilot FS2Crew is before the start.
Before start checklist.
Cockpit prep.
So we've just done the cockpit preparation, that's fine.
Completed.
Completed. Gear pins and covers.
We assume that that's going to be done.
Removed.
Signs.
We've set the signs for the passengers.
On and auto.
ADIRS.
ADIRS are aligning. They are still got 5 minutes to go. So we will wait for the ADIRS to align in 5 minutes. Sorry for the little cough at the moment. Always get a bit of a dry throat doing a lot of talking. We've set the ideas to navigation, so we should be able to check those off.
Fuel quantity.
That will be checked when we load up the flight plan.
Set.
Takeoff data.
Set.
Barrow ref.
Barrow ref set.
1027 set.
1027 set. Down to the line.
Right, okay, so we've done the initial cockpit preparation. Next is to load the MCDU. So we've got our flight plan in SimBrief, and we can quickly load that in. So AOC menu, let's do the initial press and get the data in from SimBrief. So everything's there is good. So that's the initial page. We will now load the payload. So back to the menu, back to ATC, back to the AOC, and we'll get the preparation in here. So we're going to load the fuel. And this is all calculated in SimBrief. And we're going to get the payload, and we've got 132 passengers. So we load the payload. Okay, so that's the information, and we've checked off now the fuel. We'll check that later on in a minute. So the next one is to do our init page. So we get our request for the init. We've got our alternative airport. Now I'm just going to check that with SimBrief, because that seems a long way off to have an alternative airport a way across there, but we'll see. Well, LFPG is the alternative airport, so okay. Our cruising temperature is -42, so just need to change that a little bit. We are flying at 270, but the initial temp is -42 today. Cost index of 8, so that's fine. Got that set. Now go through and set our departure. So Newcastle departure, we're flying from runway 25 via the Gurley 1X or the Gurley Y SID. So we'll insert that, and our arrival at Gatwick today is going to be on the ILS 26 left via the Gurley, not Gurley, what is it, the Disty Star via the the Willow transition, not Wilco, Willow. So we'll insert that. That's our flight plan checked. Okay, 251 miles it reckons. Okay, so now we've got to do our init B page. So we've got a zero fuel weight of 54.7. So 54.7, and our centre of gravity is 30 point or 30, yeah, 30. So go. We'll do a fuel planning. It's 4.2 our fuel block fuel. So I'm just checking that now. Total 4.4. About right. Okay, so we confirm our block fuel. And we'll now go to our init B page. No, that's fuel prediction. Let me just check. Oh no, that's correct. I've just got to put our headwind, and then I've got to look up headwind, so, or head or tailwind, wind direction. What have we got today? We've got a, where is it? Scroll to the top. So we've got a trip wind of 23 knots tail. So T23 is our tailwind. So that's checked, so that's the fuel planning. So turn the block. Now we can go on to the fuel performance now. So we go on to the performance page now. So transition threshold of 6,000 feet. We are 1270 or 270 above the ground, the runway is, so 1,000 feet is our thrust reduction. So 1,000 feet above the height of the runway, so 1270, and that is our thrust reduction set. We've got a flex temp of where's my prediction page? One day I'll find out how to show all of this. So we've got a flex temp of 68 degrees. 68 is our flex temp, and we're doing flaps 1. So we're going to do a flex temp takeoff today. So we've got all that set. We can now calculate our V1, V2 and VR. Go. That's that done. And that's it. Flight director is set up and confirmed. So let's get some passengers on board, although it's only fictitious. Bring the jetway in. I know it's fictitious, but we'll go through that. That can start loading passengers system, you know, in the background. And what we'll do now is we'll do the before start checklist.
Below the line.
Windows and doors.
So windows and doors are shut.
Closed.
Are you sure about that? Beacon?
Oh. Aha, hold on. No, the main door's open at the moment, isn't it, to let passengers on? So, so yeah, it's good. It's captured it, the fact that we didn't have the main door closed. So let's have a look. As we can see, the cabin door at the front is left is open, so we're not ready to go just yet. We can fast forward this bit. It's not like self-loading cargo, which would take quite a bit of time. So let's send the jetway away. Front door now is closed. Jetway is gone. Passengers are loaded. Cool. So
On.
Are you sure about that? Thrust levers.
let's go back for that one.
Before start checklist.
Cockpit prep.
Done. We've gone through
Completed.
that.
Completed. Gear pins and covers.
Removed.
Yeah, okay, so
Signs.
On and auto.
ADS.
as I said, this is the first time
Nav.
I've done this
Fuel
one.
quantity.
Set.
Takeoff data.
Set.
Baro ref.
1027 set.
1027 set. Down to
Below
the
the
line.
line.
Windows and doors.
Right, we know the windows and doors are closed.
Closed.
Closed. Beacon.
Beacon, we need to set the beacon on there. That's what I missed. So beacon on.
On.
Thrust levers.
We've checked those to be idle.
Idle.
Parking brake.
He's on.
On.
Before start checklist complete.
Okay, so we're ready to file our plan with air traffic control, and let's see whether we can get this right, shall we? Let's make sure I've correctly got the right tuning for this. So frequency, I want ground, I believe, 1272. There we go. Let's try this. EasyJet 21. No, I got that wrong. It's Lima Sierra now, isn't it? EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, ready to copy IFR clearance.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, we don't have a flight plan on file for you.
Okay. Did I forget to file it? So let's validate it and let's file it. Okay. So we've done that one now. So let's try again, and EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, ready to copy IFR clearance.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra is cleared to Echo Golf Kilo Kilo, climb via the GIRL 1Y departure, with the GIRLy transition, then as filed. Expect departure runway 25. Climb to flight level 140 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 9 minutes after departure. Squawk 4453.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra is cleared to Echo Golf Kilo Kilo, climb via the GIRL 1Y departure, with a GIRLy transition, then as filed. Climb to flight level 140 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 9 minutes after departure. Squawk 4453.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, read back correct. QNH is 1027, let us know when you're ready for pushback.
QNH is 1027 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
Excellent. So just check that I've just typed in the squawk code 4453, so that we're going to be squawking that during our flight. So we've got our clearance. Let's get ready for pushback, shall we? So we'll start the APU bleed. Our beacons are on. Excellent. I think that's about it. Let's get clearance for pushback. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, ready for pushback and engine start.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra pushback and engine start approved.
Pushback and engine start approved. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
Cool. Okay. So let's call in okay, so before we start that, we've got to do the before engine start. No, that's there. So let's call the tug in and let's have a look from the outside, because we need to know when the tugs arrive. So we've got pushback clearance. Release the parking brake. And let's start the pushback. Okay, beacon's going, and let's start the engine start.
Starting engine 1.
So we'll put the ignition to there and we'll start engine 1. What we're looking for is positive stabilisation on engine 1. So this is the N1 in the centre of the screen. We need to get that up to about 19, and it will just above the counter, it'll just say avail, which means that engine 1 has started and stabilised. We can keep an eye on the pushback from here. We've got to go all the way back to that centre line and then some, because we've got to basically turn back on ourselves. So engine 1 is now available and stabilised.
Starting engine 2.
And again, we'll wait for engine 2 to stabilise.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board today. This is your purser speaking. Please direct your attention to the cabin crew for important safety information. There is an instruction card in your seat pocket that illustrates the safety equipment on board this aircraft. Regulations require compliance with this information, as well as all crew instructions, the lighted information signs and posted placards. Fasten your seatbelt by inserting the metal tip into the buckle. Tighten by pulling on the belt. To release your seatbelt, lift the metal flap on the buckle. It is our policy that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times while seated. Doors are clearly marked with exit signs and instructions for door operation. Each door is equipped with an escape slide. Locate the nearest exit to you and note that the nearest exit may be behind you. In an emergency, lights will illuminate.
So engine 2 is now
the cabin is
stabilised.
pressurized. If there is a loss of cabin pressure, a panel will open and oxygen mask will appear. Remain seated with your seatbelt fastened and pull a mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Oxygen will be flowing through the mask even though the bag may not inflate. Cover your nose and mouth with the mask. Place the elastic band around your head and tighten by pulling on the end. Secure your own mask before assisting others. Your life jacket is located under your seat. Tighten the straps and once outside the aircraft, pull on the tabs to inflate your jacket. If the jacket fails to inflate, use the tube placed near the neck. Your jacket is equipped with a light that will automatically illuminate when moved. This is a non-smoking flight. Smoking is not permitted in the cabin or in the lavatory. Cabin lights will now be turned off. Reading light buttons are located over your head. Thank you very much for your attention.
So basically, the line that goes round to our left, to the right on the screen at the moment, is where we've got to follow for our taxi. So we need to go back to this A5 line. Try and get it lined up as best we can, as straight. Be good. What I'm trying to do as well is I'm trying to do the voice and talk to you guys while I'm doing this live, so that I don't have to go back later on and do the voiceover. I've got minimal editing to do on the video afterwards. So any mistakes, it's going to be all there, warts and all. Okay, that should be enough. So we'll stop the tug. We'll apply the parking brakes. Make sure the cockpit doors are locked, and we can send the tug away. Okay, there he goes. And if you're wondering, I'm using an external application on a separate screen called Pushback Helper that allows me to do all those without actually having to use the built-in air traffic control. Okay, we've got the engine stabilised, the tug is going away. We can now turn off the APU. So we can turn off the APU bleed and turn off the APU. The aircraft is now under its own engine power. The next things we need to do is on the ground spoilers. Now this, I think, is something that gets done a little bit with the flight crew. So we've got the after start checklist. So let's go through this and find out what it does.
After start checklist.
Anti-ice.
Do we need anti-ice today? It's minus 40, isn't it? So yeah, it's going to be
set.
ECAM status.
ECAM status. Let's have a look what we've got down on the ECAM. So the ECAM at the moment is blue. So we've got a few things here at the moment. So what we've got here is we've got to do the auto brakes to max. So let's set those. That's green. The cabin need to be dinged. So let's ding the cabin. And we can do the takeoff config test. All blue. No blue.
Checked.
Pitch trim.
Pitch trim, we've already calculated that. It's down 3, or 0.3 should I say. I'm sure there's a way of actually making sure that I have got down 0.3. Here we go. Pitch trim is 0.3 down.
29% set.
Rudder trim.
Rudder trim should be 0. So rudder trim, we can just reset that to 0.
0.
After start checklist complete.
Excellent. Next thing we need to do is flight controls. So the one thing we do here is apparently there's a set order that these need to be done in, so let me just bring up my cheat sheet. Okay, flight controls.
Flight control check.
Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral.
Rudder.
Full left. Full right. Neutral.
Clear
Okay.
left side.
Clear right side.
Right, let's get taxi clearance. So what's happened is the co-pilot has set the auto brakes. He's set to position 1 on the flaps, and we've got max auto brakes. These are just safety features in case something happens when we take off. So the next thing we need to do now is get our clearance to taxi. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, ready to taxi runway 25.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra taxi to runway 25 via taxiways Delta, hold short runway 25.
Taxi to runway 25 via taxiways Delta, hold short runway 25 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
Okay, so the first thing we do now is put our taxi lights on. Make sure they're up here, and we will put taxi lights on, air on, excellent. Release the parking brake. Make sure the APU bleed is all off. Ready to go. As you can notice, there's a lot to do before taking off. So release the parking brakes and we'll start to taxi. During this we will do the taxi actions. So parking brake is off. Let's move this aircraft forward.
Brake check.
Pressure 0.
And yes, today I'm using live weather and the live time of day. So this is as we are now. It is currently 2:35 here in the UK. Slightly overcast. I think it's a bit more overcast at Gatwick. Just check. Yeah, we've got a bit more overcast at Gatwick. And those that have followed my channel over the past few months on my learning experience will notice that the information bar at the top of the screen is slightly different. It's a bit more as I say, reduced in size, so it doesn't take up so much space. Bit of a fast taxi. But we need to move up to the end of this taxiway, stop short of the runway, and do our before takeoff checklist. What I'll do while we're moving up, I'll bring up the map, because I know quite a few people actually like to watch this. You can see where we're going, so we're going to be there, and this is our route out. Let's get this slowed down a bit before we actually reach the end of the taxiway, so we turn right and stop short of the line. There's the line just in front of us, so let's turn onto it.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra contact tower on 119.7. Enjoy your afternoon.
Tower on 119.7 EasyJet
Stop
21
short.
Lima Sierra.
Put the brakes on. Okay. Before takeoff checklist. Let's get the before takeoff checklist up.
Before takeoff checklist.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Checked. Flight instruments.
Checked.
Checked. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flap setting.
Config 1 plus F.
Config 1 plus F. V1, VR, V2, flex temp.
There we go. So we're doing a flex temp takeoff.
V1 130, VR 140, V2 150,
V1 130, VR 140, V2 150, ATC.
So now we're going to get our clearance for takeoff. So let's just get this going now. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra ready to take off. Obviously not the command. So let me just find out what the command is that I've got to do for takeoff clearance. So there we go. So EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra ready to depart runway 25.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra cleared to cross runway 25.
Cleared to cross runway 25 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
No, I didn't want to cross it.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra roger. Remain on this frequency.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra ready to depart runway 25.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra cleared to cross runway 2 at pilot discretion.
Obviously not working. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra ready to depart. I don't know what it is. Probably my accent. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra ready for departure.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra winds are 261 at 13 knots cleared for takeoff. Runway 25 squawk 4453.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 25 squawking 4453 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
Okay, so first things we need to do now, we've finally got the right command. Let's set our squawk to on. Let's do our before checklist. We've now got clearance.
Set.
ECAM memo.
ECAM memo. We've got any memos? No.
Takeoff no blue.
Down to the line.
Okay. So let's make sure we get the rest of this sorted, because too many times I've jumped the gun and been too soon. So get takeoff. We've got takeoff clearance. So we're going to turn the taxi lights off, put the landing lights on, set our strobe going. We put the transponder to on. We set the TCAS to TRA, and that's down a bit. That's down the next page, isn't it? So let's just move across a bit. So this one goes to BLW, to traffic, and this one goes to TARA. Turn off the packs 1 and 2. There's a lot of moving around. Turn the packs off. Cabin secure for takeoff. Let's make sure that they're all seated.
Passengers and cabin crew, please be seated and fasten your seatbelts. Thank you.
Okay. Line up and take off, I guess. So got that.
Below the line.
Cabin crew, be seated for takeoff.
Yep,
Takeoff
done that.
runway.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. Cabin crew.
Advised.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Packs.
On.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Right, here we go. Take the brakes off. And let's move forward. Line up on the runway. Up. Okay. We've got takeoff clearance. Lights are on. Lined up on the runway.
Ready?
Ready.
Takeoff.
Let's go. We'll start the chrono. Get that going. Advance the throttle to 50%. That's the 50% on the N1 dial in the. There we go, 50%. Start running.
Manflex, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue.
Check. Thrust set.
Let's get Manflex. Flex man, there we go.
100 knots.
Check.
V1. Rotate. Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up.
AP1.
Check.
Flap 0.
Speed checked.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra contact Newcastle director on
Flaps
125.82. Good day.
Radar director on 125.82 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra slow to 180 knots or less. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra good afternoon. Squawk 4453.
Squawk 4453 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
So we're climbing out over the Gurley transition, so I'm gonna pick it up there. So the Gurley transition is there. We can't go above 8,000. We are above 6,000 feet, so we put the barometer pressure to standard. And we can turn packs on now. Put the packs back on. So we've done the initial climb.
After takeoff, climb checklist.
Landing gear.
Up.
Up.
Flaps.
0.
Retracted.
Packs.
On.
On.
Down to the line.
So once we pass Gurley, we can climb to 14,000, which is what we're cleared to. So we can see now, if you have a look at the navigation display, we've got Gurley at 7.5 kilometres. We should be told to resume climb.
Below the line.
Barrow ref.
Standard set.
Standard set. After takeoff checklist complete.
And that's it. That's a checklist done. Getting used to it. A little bit strange because I've got a whole series of checklists on my
EasyJet
iPad.
21 Lima Sierra contact Scottish Centre on 119.87. Enjoy your afternoon.
Center on 119.87. Take care EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
So yeah, I've got a whole series of checklists and things to do on my iPad. That this
Center EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra climbing to flight level 140.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, good afternoon. Squawk 4453.
Squawk 4453 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
So, as I say, we've gone through Gurley, we've climbing now to 14,000, which is our initial.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, descent and maintain flight level 080 until passing Golf India Romeo Lima India.
We've already passed it.
Descend and maintain flight level 080 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, resume climb to flight level 140.
Bit of a waste of time.
Resume climb to flight level 140 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, maintain flight level 140.
We're going to. So I'm now going to start pulling up the information for our arrival at Newcastle, at Gatwick. So we're coming in on the approach 26 left, and the ILS frequency is 110.9. So I've pre-programmed that in ready on standby, and I'm going to start putting in the initial phase for our arrival. So the QNH currently at Newcastle, at Gatwick, I keep saying Newcastle is where we left off, So let me bring up my app. This is 1030. And the temperature there at the moment is 9 degrees. We've got a 310 degree wind at 5 knots. Our transition altitude is 6,000 feet, and our decision altitude is 2,000 feet, and that is it. Our radio nav is 110.9, and that's ready to pick up the ILS when we get there. Following our flight plan, we're going to be going up to 27,000 feet.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, contact Manchester Centre on 118.77. Have a good afternoon.
Centre on 118.77 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra. Center EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, climbing to flight level 210.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, climb and maintain flight level 210.
Climb and maintain flight level 210 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, good afternoon. Squawk 4453.
Squawk 4453 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
Okay, so we've just made contact with Manchester Tower, or Manchester Control. We're now clear to 21,000 feet. We've still got to get clearance to 27,000. And when I get to 27,000, our cruise control, I can hand over temporary control to the co-pilot. It's not for long on this flight. We can now probably release the passengers. Oh, I've still got the landing gear on. Takeoff lights, don't need those on no more. So many things to keep in mind. So we'll continue our climb to 21,000. Let's have a look outside, shall we? So we're coming up to the Lake District at the moment. That's probably Lake Windermere that we can see below us. I know we're heading out towards Preston and what have you at the moment. We don't actually go there, but that is obviously the Irish Sea across in front of us. We will be turning left shortly, as you can see from the map in the top right hand corner. A little bit of turbulence.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra climb and maintain flight level 270.
Climb and maintain flight level 270 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
Alright, that's our cruise altitude set. This left turn will take us on a heading towards Manchester Airport. What I'll do is I'll pop outside and we can have a look, and you should be able to see Manchester Airport. Probably over our left wing. It looks reasonably clear down there. We're going to have Blackpool on our right pretty shortly, but from this height and distance we're not going to see anything of the tower or the big one. And for those that don't know what the big one is, it was one of the world's tallest roller coasters. Been way surpassed now. Too far off our cruising altitude, and I can hand over the controls for a short while to the co-pilot. It's not been too bad learning these extra applications. It takes a little bit of while just to get used to the little quirks and everything about it. But I'll get used to it. As I say, this is the very, very first time I've used both of these applications, and it's got to get used to my voice as well. So literally we're approaching our cruising altitude, the engines will throttle back and I'll hand over the control.
Control.
I have control.
I'll take over the controls later on when we come on our descent and approach. Now there's a feature on here saying call the purser. I wonder what I can do if I call the purser.
Hi, how can I help you?
Should we have some drinks? Let's have a look at our drinks.
Hi, could you bring us some water, please?
Okay, I'll bring drinks up to the minute.
Hey, get some water. I like that.
Hi guys, here are the drinks.
Thank you.
Cool. Oh, I like that bit. And apparently, looking at that as well, she'll give us food, and we can also, let them know that we're, doing our top of descent, so that the cabin crew can get ready. So many different third-party applications. And a lot of them, are very good. I mean, self-loading cargo, don't get me wrong, is fantastic at, giving that immersion and hearing the passengers in the background, which is what this one hasn't got at the moment. But it does tend to play music, which YouTube doesn't like. And as I say, I tried a couple of times to upload this video, and both times it got flagged as copyrighted, so I've deleted it now, and I'm redoing it with these two extra applications. So far, Pilot2ATC, pretty good. It's got to take a little bit of time to get used to my voice and learn the phrases and get the pronunciation right and get the diction right, and I'm sure I'll get there with practice. And it gives you that intermediary between the default air traffic control, which is just click the button and do nothing, with actually having to actually say something. Okay, the co-pilot at the moment is doing a lot of the changing of the frequencies and doing the initial contacts to the various controllers, but the pilot on the takeoff and descent does have to initiate those calls to air traffic control.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, expect the DC-1 Golf arrival with the desert transition for the ILS approach to runway 26 left with the Willow transition at Gatwick. After PEPAL clears the red desert.
Expect the ISI-1 Golf arrival with desert transition with the ILS approach to runway 26 left with the Willow transition at the PEPAL clears the red desert. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
So you can just about see Manchester Airport now above the tail above us. So that's Manchester Airport. Nearly forgot to tell you that I was going to go and show you that. But we can clearly see the two runways. We've just had our initial clearance on our approach. So we're going to be going down the Gurley transition. Oh, sorry, the Disty transition. And I think we will initially be told to lower our altitude to 2,000 feet to cross Disty at 20,000 feet. Now I must admit the Pilot2ATC, it's not a cheap piece of software. I think it cost me about $59 US dollars. So you do get 10 days as a free trial. So I do urge you, if you do decide that you want to go down that route, to fully take advantage of that 10-day free trial, because it is quite a hefty, price to pay. The FS2Crew is not too bad. That one's costs me €20, but at the moment, or at the time of recording, it was on a 30% discount for March, so that wasn't too bad a price to pay. But yeah, Pilot2ATC is quite a hefty, but it's feature rich, massive manual and things to learn and things to do. So it does take a lot of reading and a lot of grammar to get it right. Hence the reason why I have had to contact air traffic control a few times, because I'm not getting the grammar correct.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra descend to cross desert at flight level 200, then descend via the DC-1 Golf arrival with the desert transition to flight level 100, QNH is 1030 at Gatwick.
Will cross descent at flight level 200, then descend via the DISI-1 Golf arrival with a descent transition to flight level 100, QNH is 1030, EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
So it's now time to tell the cabin that we are starting our descent.
Hi, how can I help you?
Hello, just to let you know, we're going to be starting our descent shortly.
Thanks for letting me know.
So, as the cabin crew told, I'm going to take control of the aircraft.
I have control.
You have control.
1013 set.
1013 set. Passing to 7,400.
Yeah. The altitude, QNH is 1030 at Gatwick, yeah. So we're now going to start descending to 20,000 feet. So that we can cross Disty
now.
Check. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain. Well, we are coming towards the end of our flight today, so we will shortly be starting our descent into our destination. Once we've landed, it will take us just a couple of minutes to taxi to the gate. During that time, we'll ask that you remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until I have turned the seatbelt sign off. But it's been lovely having you on board with us. I do hope you've had an enjoyable flight, and wish you a very pleasant onward journey. Thank you.
And that's probably something that I forgot to do, was to actually, at the beginning of the flight, welcome them on board, because I've just noticed there is a welcome button as well. Hey, learning practice. So we're quite a way off the Disty transition, but we can get down, as you can see, you're about 25 miles away from Disit, or the this 1T waypoint. As long as we're at 20,000 feet and we're at 22,500 feet, we'll be fine. And we'll easily make that. I'm just going to check what it goes through on the approach checklist, because that's what it's saying we need to do next. So this is where we have to get the people to put their seat belts on and make sure we've got the briefing. We've had the briefing from air traffic control. Just double check what flight levels we need to be at. So we've got Disit, we need to be at 20,000 feet. At Kidley we need to be at 15,000. So that will be our next point of call. So as we can see, Disit is our next waypoint, and that's 12 nautical miles. And as you can see now, Kidley is just popped up at about 33 nautical miles, and we need to be at flight level 150. So when we get to Disit, it'll be time to put the seat belts on and get them to sit. And set the altitude to 15,000. Oh well, let's get them on now.
Approach checklist.
Briefing.
Got the briefing, we've had it from ATC.
Confirmed.
ECAM status.
ECAM status, good.
Checked.
Biro ref.
1013 set.
1013 set. Minimum.
Set.
Set. Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Approach checklist complete.
Okay, so next is going to be flaps and what have you. At the moment we're on standard barometer, and that just defaults to 1013. When we pass through 6,000 feet we need to be on a barometer setting of 1030 as per the METAR and approach that we've been given. So we've gone through Disti, let's down to 15,000. For Kidley. And then we can go down
Cabin
to
crew, prepare for arrival.
4,000. and eventually 2000. Still got a little way to go before we actually get to Gatwick. We're only just coming up to Oxford. I don't think we'll be able to see much of Oxford. It's basically straight ahead.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, contact London Control on 118.47.
So as you can see there, Blenheim Palace, nice of it to point it out.
8.47 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
So Oxford is just in front of us to the left, so it's probably just below those.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra descending to flight level 100.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, good afternoon. Squawk 4453.
Squawk 4453 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
Time to go down to flight level 1000 as we said. The next thing on the FS2Crew is to control the flaps as we come in, so that's a little while off yet. We've got a we're on the DISIT arrival star. We're going to transition through Willow, so we actually go down to the south coast almost before doing a left turn and coming back up to join the approach on runway 26 left. Not long we arrive at 10,000 feet, at which point we'll need to put our landing lights on. The FAA regulations dictate that we put them on at 10,000 or below. The other thing as well is we need to be below or 250 knots below 10,000 feet as well. And if we have a look at our navigation display, at mid we need to be below 15,000 and maximum speed of 250 knots. keeping an eye on the altitude at the moment, 11,000 feet. So 500 to go. Landing lights on. And in front of us at mid, you'll start seeing the layout of the final approach pattern. So we're on our descent, heading for the actual approach star pattern. So we're actually in line at the moment over our left hand side with Heathrow Airport. I doubt whether we'll be able to see it. Probably way up above under those clouds at the top of the screen, so can't really see Heathrow from here. Should have put the weather on beforehand. See the clouds ahead. I said it was a bit more cloudy at Gatwick. So we're steady at 250 knots. We're at 10,000 feet. Next altitude is 4,000 feet, which we need to be at Willow, and then we'll descend to 2,000 feet, ready to pick up the ILS. So as we can see, we've got a little bit of a loop to do as we go through the Willow interchange transition. See that here on the map as we go through the Willow transition. think it's going to take too long now to get down. The one that we've got to keep an eye on is when we need to lower the speed to 220, and that's when we start thinking about flaps 1. Because if you have a look on the panel here, just below the designator and say cell code, you can see at 230 knots VFE we should need to apply flaps 1. And our co-pilot will say that we've got the speed checked and flaps 1. If you deploy them too early, you could rip them off. Let's lower the range to 20 miles now. So we're at 250 knots, we're below the 15,000, which is what we need to be. The next one is we need to be below 220 knots. So I'm now going to manually lower this speed now to 220 knots. Gone through coming up with 220 knots on the left hand side. That's our airspeed at the moment. I know it's different to the ground speed on the information bar above, but we're looking at our flight speed. At 2 FOS we need to be flight level 15,000 or below and 220 knots, which is what we are. At Holly, it's exactly the same. So we keep this configuration for a little while longer. And we've actually gone past, if we was to look at our left hand window, if it was clear weather, we could probably see Gatwick Airport in the distance over our left wingtip. Okay.
Flaps 1.
Speed checked.
So that's flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
So we've just activated the first set of flaps at 230 knots. Well, we're 220 knots. Holding that speed. As we approach Holly at 222 knots, we'll need to start thinking about dropping our altitude to 4,000 feet. as we come round the Willow transition. And we can manage this altitude changes by ourselves because air traffic control gave us clearance to follow the DISIT approach plan. So we look at the restrictions, the constraints on our navigation display, so we know what we can do. They dictate what speed and height we need to be. Yeah, the one thing it doesn't really say on here is sorry, is what our speed's supposed to be. Anyway, it does on the navigation display. So as you can see, we're approaching at 220 knots. We'll then start to lower.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra QNH is 1030 at Gatwick, cleared for the ILS approach to runway 26 left at Gatwick with the Willow transition.
QNH is 1030 cleared for the ILS approach to runway 26 left with the Willow transition. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra descend via the Willow transition to 2,000 feet.
Descend to 2,000 feet via the Willow transition. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
I've just set it, it gave me a little bit of a warning. So eventually we need to go down to 2,000 feet, so we're on the approach, on the loop now to Willow, so we'll start descending to 4,000. It's going to be our transition altitude. And as we cross, we can
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be arriving at our destination shortly. If you're making a connecting flight, please see the customer service agent making this flight or the video monitors inside the terminal with connecting ATC. For your continued safety, flight attendants will now walk through the cabin to secure it for landing. We'll collect any off-service items, newspapers and any other items that you wish to discard or take after taking off the aircraft. Also, in preparation for landing, please turn off all electronic devices. Clothing devices will be no longer carried. Please use caution when opening the overhead bin as items may have tipped and fallen inside. Please stow your tray tables and toilet seats to the upright position and exit the aircraft. We'll be landing shortly. Thank you.
So that's the cabin getting the passengers ready for landing. We're about to go through the 6,000 feet transition where we need to set the barometer to the actual pressure of Gatwick. There's the transition altitude. So 1030, which is our QNH for Gatwick. Bit of cloud, as we said. what they reckon the cloud base is. Broken at 1700, but we've got visibility of 6 miles, so that should be plenty when we get down to see the runway. So we're coming up on 4,000 feet for Willow. Need to be continue at 4,000 feet at mid 22.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra QNH is 1030 at Gatwick, contact tower on 124.22. Have a good one.
QNH is 1030 tower on 124.22. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra. Tower EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra inbound for ILS approach runway 26 left.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, good afternoon. Squawk 4453, continue ILS to runway 26 left, call when established on final.
Continue ILS to runway 26 left, will call when established on final. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
So that'll be my next contact with ATCs when we're lined up and we're fully established on the final. We get our final clearance. So 2.5 nautical miles we transition through Wilco, and then we start our final transitions to Gatwick. Apparently we've got a few broken clouds at 1,700 feet, so we've still got to go through a little bit of a cloud layer as we're still only at 4,000. And if you've, as I say, if you've watched any of my previous videos, and I do hope you have, you'll notice that the way I've done it is in the past is recorded it, and then I've gone back over it and put a voiceover on. I don't know whether this is better to do it live, it's more spontaneous, or whether or not the quality is better. I don't know. If you want, leave a comment below and let me know which one you prefer. So we're 3 nautical miles from mid 22, at which point we then need to lower our altitude to 2,000 for May. Oh no, we stay at 4,000 for May. Tell a lie. Stay at 4,000 for May. We need to be at 2,000 at the USR1. At the final turn. So here we're going to stay at 4,000 and we'll descend to 2,000 as we go through MAY, at which point we'll start lowering our speed and preparing for the final approach. I'm going to get my ATC crib sheet ready for the approach so that I know what I've got to say. And these are the last bit of clouds as we've got to go through. So 5 nautical miles and we can lower to 2000, lower the speed down to 180 or 185, and then we can put the bit more flaps down and start getting ready for our ILS approach. We can just check the McDo and check that. There we go, it's picked up the Willow transponder, and there we go. It's all ready. Okay. 1.5 nautical miles, we go through May, and then we're on our approach. Okay, let's lower it down to 2000. Speed down. To 185.
Flaps 2.
Speed checked. Flaps 2.
Checked.
So we can arm the localizers now, and we can see that it's picked up the localizers in the bottom left hand corner of the display. We're at 2000 feet, which is the height that we need to check, and we can probably go to flaps 3 on the turn. So our landing lights are on, everything's on, we're getting ready to do the final checks. So let's ding the cabin crew. So the spoilers are got to be armed. So let's arm the spoilers. Set the auto brake. And we get ready to pick up the localizer. We do the turn and we get ready to put the landing gears down. Wait for the ILS diamonds. Speed a bit more. Flaps 3. Diamond, localizer diamond is alive. Turn on the localizer.
Gear down.
Gear down.
Gear down.
Flaps 3.
Speed checked. Flaps 3.
We're now going to lower the speed now for our approach.
Flaps full.
Speed checked.
Flaps full.
Cabin crew, be seated for landing.
Just waiting for it to capture the glide slope now.
Landing checklist.
Cabin crew.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra. What is it? EasyJet Lima Sierra 21 Zulu. Oh no, it's not. Try that again. EasyJet Lima. No, it's not. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra established on runway 21. No, it's not. Oh, come on, Lee. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra established on final for runway 26 left.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra winds are 280 at 5 knots, cleared to land runway 26 left.
Cleared to land runway 26 left, EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
Auto thrust.
Speed.
Auto brake.
Low.
ECAM memo.
Landing no blue.
Landing
Checked.
checklist complete.
So here we go.
Continue.
I was going to say, don't you crash now. You don't want you to be doing that now. Autopilot off, auto thrust off.
300. 200. 100 above. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Spoilers. No reverse. Engine
EasyJet
1
21
and
Lima
2.
Sierra
Decel.
exit runway when able.
There we go, we're
70
down.
knots.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the conclusion of our flight. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign and the aircraft is found safely. This will be your indication that it is safe to move around the cabin, gather your belongings and disembark. We'd like to thank you for flying with us today. We appreciate your business and we hope to see you once again on a future flight. Thank you.
Right, we'll just stop here. Put the parking brake on. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, clear of active runway.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra contact ground on 121.8. Enjoy your afternoon.
Ground on 121.8 EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
After landing checklist.
Flaps.
Retracted.
Spoilers.
Disarmed.
APU.
Start.
Radar.
Off.
Predictive wind shear system.
Off.
After landing checklist complete.
Taxi light off.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, request taxi to gate 52.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra taxi to general aviation parking via taxiways Tango, hold short runway 26 right.
Taxi to general aviation parking via taxiways Tango, hold short runway 26 right EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
So general taxi aviation is not quite right, but never mind. Let's taxi. I'll just park up. We've got to wait for. Got to hold short of this runway. EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, request clearance to cross runway 26 right.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, this is Gatwick ground on 121.8. Please repeat your request.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra, request taxi over. Oh no.
EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra taxi to general aviation parking via taxiways runway 8 left Tango, hold short runway 26 right.
Taxi to general aviation parking via taxiways runway 8 left Tango, hold short runway 26 right EasyJet 21 Lima Sierra.
Need to work on that one. We're going to go and park at gate 52. I need to find out what EasyJet gates they tend to use at Gatwick. Bit of research required on that one, I think. Because according to the book and the manual, that is the correct command to request taxi clearance to the gate. For general aviation, that's a little aircraft. So we're near the end of our flight, and I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been eventful, a bit of learning curve, and I'm hoping to get a lot better at some stage. By the looks of it, it's those terminals over there that EasyJet use, so let's go and park up there instead of gate 52. Let's go and park at the ones across the back. .52 is straight ahead of us, but I think that's for the bigger planes, but never mind, let's go and have a look here. We can see other EasyJet flights here, so let's go and park here, 105.
If you like this video, hit me with a like, subscribe to be notified of new content, or leave a comment below.
Oh, nearly. Looks like it might be 105, not 52, so try and remember that. Right, parking brake, let's go through the parking checklist.
Parking checklist.
APU bleed.
On.
Engines.
Off.
Seat belts.
Off.
Exterior lights.
Set.
Fuel pumps.
Off.
Parking brake and chocks.
On and in.
Parking checklist complete.
And that's it. That's the FS2Crew complete. Let's bring in the jetway, the passengers off. And that is basically the flight. We've just got to shut down. Here comes the jetway. So it might be runway parking slot 105 that we need to come into. Why is the jetway not coming in? The passengers off.
Hi, how can I help you?
No, nothing there. And nothing there. So that's basically flight crew finished. We can now let the passengers off and shut down the engines, shut down everything on the aircraft. So again, hope you've had a pleasant flight. Fly with us again at some stage, and hopefully I will be a lot better. Let's just close everything down there. Turn the batteries off. Turn the APU bleed off. And turn the external power off. And there we go. That's the end of our flight today. Thanks for coming, and see you on the next flight. Bye for now.